wrong. In 2007, when the first of the series, Uncharted Drake's Fortune released, making video games more cinematic was all the rage. As technology improved, it seemed like the industry was hell-bent on improving graphics, animations, narratives, and acting performances. And at the time, Uncharted Drake's Fortune was a perfect example of one of those games becoming more cinematic. At the time.
When you look at the first Uncharted without nostalgia goggles in 2023, of course you can see the significance of it and how it moved the industry forward. But it feels ultra-dated on its own. And it breaks my heart to say this, but it also applies to Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
Now, don't get us wrong. We love Uncharted 2. I can already see people rushing to type that that game is a masterpiece and it deserves no criticism. But I just want to say, the graphics and cinematic quality of Uncharted are what made it a masterpiece in 2008. And newer games have just surpassed the quality of Uncharted 2.
Which of course they have, it's just the nature of how games progress and improve themselves.
Especially when a draw to a video game is its cinematic nature. As the industry becomes more cinematic, it gets left in the dust a little bit. But that's not to say that Uncharted 2 didn't blow everyone's minds when it came out. If you were not a gamer when Uncharted 2 Among Thieves came out in 2009, it felt like Naughty Dog went into the future 5 years and brought back a video game to that time.
It for real did. Like, the graphics were incredible, the puzzles were fun and intuitive, the narrative was a compelling roller coaster ride as you joined Nate on a dangerous adventure around the world.
Whoa!
Hey! Look at him go!
Whoa! Oh. But when we're talking about adapting Uncharted into a movie, you have to look at what drew people to the Uncharted games in the first place. The entire experience finally provided gamers with what it felt like to be in an action-packed adventure movie like Indiana Jones or The Mummy.
Right, like climbing up a crashed train, hanging off a cliffside, being attacked by a psychotic helicopter pilot, and fighting your way through a collapsing building, just to name a few.
Most importantly, these things are happening while the player is in control. You are playing through these huge events. You are climbing up a crashed train. You are running through an actively collapsing building around you.
You are Indiana Jones.
You are Brendan Fraser. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank you. I just need to know that I've done one thing right with my life.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my god.
That was amazing.
I'm sorry. I lost myself.
That was incredible.
I was in it.
You were in it.
Now that brings us back to the Uncharted movie. Because if the initial pitch of the Uncharted games were, what if you could play through an Indiana Jones movie, then the pitch of Tom Holland's Uncharted would be, what if instead of playing an Indiana Jones movie, you could watch an Indiana Jones movie?
Now I've never seen that before.
Except for Indiana Jones 1, 2, 3, 4, the new one, The Mummy, Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey.
Is that the one where they're diving in the water?
Don't say, you can't know that about Fool's Gold and say, is that the one? You clearly know Fool's Gold. Don't lie to them. It's embarrassing to know Fool's Gold. And yeah, it's because Dad watched it while we were on vacation. That's exactly right. The draw to Uncharted, unlike The Last of Us, came from its ability to create spectacle in games similar to mostly 2000s blockbusters. But when you're turning that back into a movie in 2022, you just get an average blockbuster starring Spider-Man and Marky Hate Crime Mark.
Does everyone remember that?
We do. Wikipedia.
Right there.
Read it.
The Last of Us, however, is entirely different. The game's fame comes from the fact that in 2013, the linear narrative was executed so well that it was shocking to see in a video game. The story structure, dialogue, and especially the performances made this game shocking.
And that's not to say that Uncharted 4 doesn't also have that draw, but you'd kind of be naive and a little bit nostalgic to say that Uncharted 1 and 2 have a similar killer story like The Last of Us.
Right.
Pirates?
Pirates?
Yeah, the modern kind. They don't take prisoners. At least not real prisoners.
Wait.
Do you know how to use one of these?
Yeah, it's like a camera. You just point and shoot, right?
Good girl.
then it starts to make sense why this worked better on screen, especially when you have talent like Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey building off of what Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker did so successfully a decade ago. And that's not to say that Uncharted is not loved for its characters or performances. Nolan North as Nathan is amazing.
He's one of my favorite characters in the game.
But if you're looking at the actual story, and again, we